धर्मक्षेत्रे कुरुक्षेत्रे समवेता युयुत्सवः।
ओम शानं भवतु शानं भुनक्तु सह वीर्यैः करवावहै तेजस्विनाधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै. Let us sit down and study together. Through discussion, we sharpen each other's intellect. May we not bear any ill will to each other. So our session is basically a discussion, and through that we learn the concepts. Om Shanti, Om Shanti, Om Shanti. Peace, peace, may peace prevail.
नमे पार्थास्ति कर्तव्यं त्रिषु लोकेषु किंचन नानवाप्तमवाप्तव्यं वर्त एव च कर्मणि।
हे अर्जुन, मुझे इन तीनों लोकों में न तो कुछ कर्तव्य है और न कोई भी प्राप्त करने योग्य वस्तु अप्राप्त है, तो भी मैं कर्म में ही बरतता हूँ।
And I want to start is it's like it's all based around karma. So what are the driving forces? Why do we do anything? In a summary, there are three kind of driving forces. First is the desire, right? Kamasya prerana. Kam is, kind of desire. And in a question format, what do I want? It's basically centered around that. What do I want as an individual? What do we want as a country or a society? Or, it's like all based on the want. What do I want? And more than 90% of people live, their driving force is desire. There are many, many philosophers. Aristotle has something to say about it. He talks about purpose, telos. Then Viktor Frankl talks about meaning, search for meaning. Maslow talks about pyramid system where the lowest desire, like if you don't have food, food is what you want. And that's your desire and you pursue to achieve food. But when you have got everything, then you try to achieve something different. So basically desire is a driving force. The second one, which we dealt with in the last session, is to do with this whole niyatam kuru karmatvam. It's like, what am I meant to do? So we all are here, and the prakriti, the srishti, the universe wants us, to do something. So what am I meant to do? What is my swadharma? What is my aptitude? And that's what I pursue. So it's not that one is bad and the other is good. And sometimes we live both. Sometimes we do the desire pathway, and then at times we do something that is from inside us. Somebody needs a glass of water, you spontaneously give them a glass of water or a bottle of water. That is something that comes from inside you. The third one that we will be touching today is once you transcend number one and number two, you get into this thing. You are working for the universe. You are working for Paramatma. You are completely, this word that we learned before, Atmanyev Atmanatushta, you are completely content in yourself. And whatever you do, now you're doing it. It's like in a question format, what am I supposed to do for others? It's like you are doing everything for others now. How can I serve the whole?
So you mean that the third stage is to uphold the laws of universe?
Well, you can say that you may be upholding the laws of universe. It's like constitution in all the format. But it's like when Krishna says, Name parth asti kartavyam. There is nothing for me to do. There is nothing for me to get, but I still work. And what he's doing is for it's like you are working for Paramatma. You still work. And we will come to that when we come to that. But this is, basically the driving forces. Any thoughts on that, before we go into?
Perfectly okay. I mean, it's basically transcending stage 1, stage 2 of your desire than actually working for the universal good.
As simple as that. And the other thing I want to recap from last time that we talked, and this took me a long time to understand, and maybe it's just my understanding, but we can talk about it and share it with other people. Is when Brahma says saha yagya praja shrashta, so he is doing a yagya. And this yagya concept, you and I have been talking on this yagya concept, is you create an atmosphere, you create vibrations around you that materializes something. So even Brahma does creation through yagya. And yagya can be on a personal level and even on a very high level. And basically, for me, it seems like the more I dwell on this, the more I think about it, more I try to kind of experience it inside, the more it is like creating an atmosphere, the vibrations. Amitabh, the space around us is not an empty space. And we all know that. We found sound travels there. We found light travels there. And some light we can perceive, some we can't. We can't see infrared. Or, the sound we can, there is a range we can hear. Now we know there is sound below and sound above our hearing range. And wind blows there. So can we create a vibration like when we can go back to the 14 and 15 verse, which, just briefly, but that is what I think yagya is. And for any yagya, the karma has to come. So karma comes even before creation, or they are co-created, both created at the same time, Brahma, as outlined in the verse 15. But creation cannot happen without, any karma, right?
It has to be an action for the creation.
Those are the things we wanted to kind of touch base. And I'll just go over the 14 and 15, which we have already done, but just to recap that in the niyatam kuru karma tvam, in the cycle, and you have that nice word about the cycle, but here evam pravartitam chakram. The whole thing is that starting from the base that bhutani is us, right? We need something to survive, and here it's an, but we have several needs, but here an is food, and that food happens because of rain. Rain happens because of yagya. So the whole idea is, yes, there is scientific explanation for rain, but why will it happen on my land at a particular time? That needs probably some kind of environmental kind of situation where the rain can happen in that location at that time when you need it. And then that's where the yagya comes, that yagya makes it possible. And what is yagya is that all the good deeds or deeds that people can do. So that karma comes there. And karma comes from Brahma. And Brahma comes from nowhere, like Akshar, right?
Yeah.
So
Yes.
that's the cycle that creates this whole situation where we are heading to, everything seems to be connected from my need to all the way up to the Brahma, right?
Let me just enumerate a little bit of my understanding of yagya. Yagya is basically an action in this universe to sustain this universe. So on one side, this is at the cosmic level, where the movement of the planets, stars, natural events, and all that to ultimately sustain the universe. On the human level, our actions, or rather benevolent actions, also to sustain this universe. Okay. So basically, all these benevolent actions, whether it is creation, maintenance, sustenance, and all these things, are basically actions from at the cosmic level and at the human level. So anything, any action that sustains the universe and maintains the universal law is that yagna, or sacrificial rites. Vedas, because the Vedas emanated from the words of Brahman. So these are the ritualistic actions which produces material results. So this is how a cycle happens, because if we make a benevolent action, its effects are also benevolent and it sustains. Like, as you said, it creates a situation which satisfied the Ishwaras or the Devatas, and then rain happens. From the rain, grains and the vegetables happen, and we consume and we sustain ourselves. And this is a cycle. So this cycle of coexistence, this cycle of benevolent action, is basically the yagna, or the sacrificial rites.
Yeah, I think you're, spot on. And the only other thing that I think we can add to that, which we have talked before, is karma is as an offering. It's not karma as a selfish thing. This
That is
one
right.
is like, it's more like an offering. You're doing it not definitely for a selfish reason, but for a collective reason.
Exactly, that's what you mentioned about the third stage of desire,
Yeah.
where we transcend all these two earlier stages, and at that point, on the third stage, your action produces benevolence to everyone.
Yeah. And the last point to recap, Amitav, just came to my mind, is this whole thing, like offering and things happening, is a giving and receiving, right? You are giving out your karma, but you are also receiving. That economy, we are losing that whole principle in the tax and tariff state. Giving and receiving is what Brahma in the beginning says. You give something or offer something to devatas, and they will give you in return. But it's not only devatas. I think, devata could be any good human being, right?
That is true. And actually, I think this whole actions at the cosmic level and human level, when it is performed as a sacrifice, selfless actions
Yeah.
of the third stage of desire, it's like a symphony or a choir. Everything is in unison.
Right.
And that produces a beautiful result that
Yeah.
sustains the universe.
But, when you let go of the desire as a drive, you feel you are losing something, but you are not. Actually, you are, even better.
That is right. Because
Yeah.
what happens that when we have that intense desire, we lose our focus, our ego and wants creep in, and that takes our focus off. And at the same time, that ego and that intense desire causes emotional upheaval, so we cannot judge properly.
Right. So then now we come to, the shlokas that we want to go to. Is Krishna is saying that, okay, one is the niyatam kuru, and it's like, what am I meant to do? From there, if you are jumping to the other one, it takes you back to that Atma level. It takes you first, going to that Sthita Pragya level where you are in your Atma. It's a different word this time. Atmanyeva cha santushtas. One who is satisfied completely with who he is, where he is, what surroundings he is in. Once you are rooted down, grounded completely, then you don't need to worry about what will happen from your karma. Because you remember, Amitabh, it all started, how do you bypass the karma bondage?
Yes.
So this is the ultimate way to stay out of karma bondage and
Yes.
even the cycle.
Yes, and we touched that in the chapters 2.
Yeah.
And this is once we have the knowledge of who am I,
Right.
okay, and then the desire and the ego falls away, and the work itself becomes important in a non-attached way.
So
That's
that's where he is, and um, I will move on, because that's the main point he's doing. He's saying that, those who want to work or those who don't want to work, don't disturb them. Focus on yourself. Because sometimes, it's like I heard a story, it's like a great, saint was walking every morning. So someone said, "Can I join you?" So he said, "Okay, join me." And he's walking. And nowadays there is a big deal about silent walking. That's one of the things that has become a fashion. But he used to walk silent, just walk. And this guy was it's like he gets up early in the morning, walking along with this saint. And one time he says, "Look at all these people who are sleeping and missing all this nature and missing this walk." The saint didn't say anything. When they came back, the saint, this new person who came to walk with him actually came at a recommendation of somebody the saint knew. And the saint said to him, "Your friend talks too much." All he had said. But both of these things, when we do something good, we feel like the entire world is, it's like, should be doing it, or why are they not doing it? So that is what, the verse 18 says, it's like somebody wants to work, that's fine. Somebody doesn't want to work. I mean, unless it is directly, you are training him or coaching him, you don't have to make a judgment about it.
Actually, the question, the concept is, why should we work?
Right.
Okay, why should there be actions anyway?
Yeah.
First of all, one of the verses says that just to sustain your body, okay, you have to work. That's number one. Number two, because it is to sustain the universe, okay,
Yeah.
and universal law, okay. So he says that, he puts two examples. One at the human level, Janaka is the
Yeah.
king, and Janaka is the king, and who did the kingly duties, all royal duties he did, but he remained unattached. So he was Rajarshi. He was Rishi as well as
He
a
was free from
king,
bondage of karma.
free from bondage. And then he takes it to another higher level of example, where he puts himself as an example,
Yeah.
Krishna as Brahman.
Mhm.
He says that even though I am free of all bondages, I still have to work, because if I don't, the whole homeostasis or the equilibrium in this universe will be disturbed. So that is number two. Okay.
So number
Number
two is
three,
true not only for Krishna, but anybody, any high performance hero figure.
yes, exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. And the third one, he says that if these benevolent actions are not done, who would the people follow?
Yeah.
So they need an example to follow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like a mentor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right. An example in front of them. And the fourth one is that when we work, if we give up our ego desire complex, we give up the sense that we are doer, and we become the agent of the deed. So in that way, our actions become benevolent,
Yeah.
and sustaining to the universe.
And
So
again,
these are,
that will not have bondage.
that's right.
Yeah. So
That's
this
right.
bondage of karma is important. Like we cannot not do karma. We have to.
Yes,
Question is,
we have.
every karma you do, there is equal and opposite reaction. So
Yes.
when do you stop? How do you stop that bounce back? And the bounce back stop is when the karma is being done by you, but you are not doing it. So you're not the doer, but still the karma is being done.
The actions are being done, but with the attitude that I am the agent of the deed rather than I am the doer.
Nimitta matram.
That's right.
Yeah.
And
But
when
here
we
is the
do
one
that,
that really, when he talked about Janak, and he says that loka sangraha mevapi. So lok sangraha, he's doing it for lok kalyan, for the welfare of the people.
that's right. That's right.
Yeah.
So the word lokasangraha, janakalyan, or for the good of the humanity, when we do that,
Yeah.
our actions become selfless. It is devoid of ego desire complex. So it is a non-attached, focused work.
It is still going to help people, right? I mean, whatever.
Absolutely, because it sustains the law of universe, sustains the universe, and dharma is sustaining the universe, that which upholds,
Yeah.
that which upholds, that is dharma, from the word dharanam.
Yes, dharayati dharma, right? Then he
Yes.
tells Arjun to, follow these principles and work without attachment or non-attachment. Some people say detachment, and I want to mention that detachment is not the correct word here. Because for detachment, or to get to detach with somebody, you have to attach first. But non-attached means that's the default. Like we are born non-attached, we die non-attached. In between, we develop attachment. So as long as you know that truly there is no attachment. I mean, everything is, like even friendship and like relationship, they're all man's construct, right?
That is
And
right.
I'm not saying it's wrong.
No, it's not wrong. Actually, Buddha said in Buddhist philosophy, impermanence is a very important thing,
Yeah.
which we learned earlier in Gita. That which is not everlasting is impermanent or asat,
Yeah.
unreal. So that is the concept that you are talking about.
But Gita is not talking about not doing your duty. Like if you have a son,
Absolutely.
you
Absolutely.
want him to go to school, you want him to learn things, and you have to have that means for him to be able to do that. So I don't think Gita is saying don't do those things. I mean, so non-attached attachment, maybe a better word, which is not used anywhere.
Well,
If you use attachment, but you are non-attached, if it makes sense.
yeah, I mean, when you talk about the way I understand, if you talk about attachment, we understand that one.
Yeah.
When you say the word detachment is forcefully you are just
Right.
removing yourself. On the other hand, non-attachment is such a mental state with knowledge of who I am and what's my relationship with the Lord of the universe. We understand the unreal or impermanent situations or the events or the characters, and then we can perform all our actions with focus, yet not attached to the result. So
Exactly. And that's what Krishna does, right?
yes,
Krishna is doing everything that everyone else is doing,
that's right.
and
That's
even more intensely.
That's right. It is the emotional mental status of non-attachment that brings the liberation from all the emotional upheaval.
Yeah. That brings us to the vital shloka, I call it. It's really very humbling, Amitabh. If you want to look it up, so 27 and 28.
Yeah, love those two.
Prakrite kriyamanani gunai karmani sarvasa. The word I like here most is guna guneshu vartanta.
गुणागुणेषु वर्तन्त इति मत्वा न सज्जते गुणागुणेषु वर्तन्त.
So what he's saying is that even if you don't want to work, even if you decide, I don't want to work, still the Prakriti will kind of force you to work. It's like, I don't know, it doesn't use the word force, but it's like you are bound to work.
Yeah, sure. Remember, we did talk about the attributes of Prakriti,
Right.
and that's from Vedanta,
Yeah.
which we touched here earlier. Anything that is made of natural elements or Prakriti
Yeah.
has got a set of attributes where it is created, it sustains, persists, and then it decays or destructs. Srishti, Sthiti, Pralaya, Vinash.
So Srishti is the creation, right?
Creation, then it is the existence, and then
So when
it is,
the Srishti is existence,
no, Srishti is creation.
Srishti is creation. What is the next one?
Sthiti,
Sthiti
yeah,
is existence. Okay.
okay. So
Srishti is Sthiti and Vinash.
Srishti, Sthiti, and Vinash.
Okay. Vinash is the destruction.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. So anything that is made of natural element has to go through these three stages.
Yeah.
That's number one. And number two is that anything that is made of Prakriti will have three gunas. We learned about that.
No,
Sattva, Rajas.
we haven't touched it fully. So why don't
No, we did not touch it.
So Sat, Rajas, and Tamas.
That's right.
Okay.
So Prakriti has got these two sets of attributes.
Three sets of attributes.
No, first set is Srishti, Sthiti, Vinash.
Okay.
And the second one is the Sattva, Rajas, Tama. These are the attributes.
Okay. So can you briefly tell about Sat, Rajat, and Rajas and Tamas?
Yes. Sat is the person or the trait which is calm, quiet, intelligence, focused. Okay.
Yeah.
Truthful. Okay. Honest.
Yeah.
Rajas is the person who is very good in performing actions.
Yeah.
Okay. He is all the time busy. He is also focused, but his emotional status is not like the Sattva. His emotion is always disturbed because his motivation is ego and desire complex. So we'll see later on. There's a verse which says kama eva krodha eva rajoguna samudbhavam.
Yeah.
The desire, the anger, the frustration, all these things happen
Are part of
to this
Rajas.
kind of people when
Yeah.
they did not achieve their goal. Tamas is the trait of inertia, laziness, unintelligent behavior.
So Sattva is clarity, balance, harmony, goodness.
Yes,
Rajas is activity, passion, restless.
yes,
And Tamas is kind of inertia, darkness, ignorance.
yes. You summarized it very well.
And we all have propensity to a portion of each of them. You need three of them.
Actually, whether we need it or not doesn't matter because we are made of natural elements. So these three the things are within us. At the time of action, which one preponderates dictate the action.
In what proportion, right?
Yes.
So
Yes.
if you are an intellectual, you're more likely to be sattva, more and some of tamas and some of rajas because you need the drive. Rajas is the drive, right?
Yes. Drive with emotional upheaval.
Yeah.
Okay. Even an intellectual person, you will see that later on when Arjuna will ask, how do the wise people get diverted? We'll talk about that.
Yeah.
So even a intelligent person which has got preponderance of sattva trait, but when they develop that intense desire, okay, intense ego, they fall into the group of, they come under the influence of rajas.
Yeah, you always give this example of Ramakrishna, who used to say that you can have the ego of sattva as well, right?
Yes.
That I am spiritual, I am biggest spiritual or bigger
Yes.
spiritual than someone else. So
Yes.
it is possible that wherever you are, you can still have that ego can infiltrate any part of your life. So you have to be careful about that as well. So one
Actually,
side, you have to be careful about your ego. The other side, you have to be careful about your karma, which is desires,
intense desire. So
Yeah.
I cannot help but say that, quote Ramakrishna's example, even sattva, which appears to be very, very much of a desirable state,
Yeah.
it has got its three pitfall. He used to say that I am the best devotee,
Yeah.
I'm the most knowledgeable, and the third one is really laughable. I'm the most humble. So ego can creep into us in very
Yeah.
different forms,
So subtle, right?
so subtle,
Yeah.
and that's why in few slokas, as you will read, that it will say our sense object and our senses create our desire along with the three traits of gunas.
Yeah.
Okay, therefore control our senses, okay, and understand how we are working and what guna or what trait is dominant at that time of action.
So
that's
yeah, I mean, both of these are important. So it's all coming together, and also coming up in the verses here.
yes.
So these gunas are kind of, in a way, if you are not aware of it, it may be controlling your life, in a way,
That's right. Absolutely.
Yeah, and which is preponderant in you. And if you are intentional about it, and if you are intentionally aware about it, then you can do something. You can kind of regulate some of the things you want to
Actually, this
not
is
fall for or fall for. Yeah.
actually this is the state that Buddhists call is awareness, mindfulness. That's all. So being aware all the time, being alert, watching ourselves all the time.
So I'll go back to the word I used, guna gunesu vartanta. It's like I could not get a handle on this. And the way I understand now, it feels good for me, but think what you think about it. Guna gunesu vartanta. So many of the things I thought before, that gunas reside inside us. The gunas are part of us. And, we have some sat and some rajas and some. It seems like physical being is one thing, but there is so many things around us that exist. And, it's like, I think ego is also around us, it's not necessarily in our head. The same way, these gunas or these attributes, they are kind of around us. I mean, it's very closely together, but it's not part of my physical being. Because these attributes, if like we believe that there is reincarnation, these attributes travel with you. So some of these things travel with the astral body or whatever body or Atma or whatever you believe in. I mean, I believe in astral body that, comes out of the physical body and that travels. But that is surrounded by these gunas. And so guna live in guna. Guna guneshu vartanta. They don't live inside us. But yes, waves of these gunas will come and affect us. but it's not necessarily part of our cellular structure.
Yeah, you cannot pinpoint it as a physical location.
Right.
It is a trait.
Yeah.
Gunas
Yeah,
are
but many times we think all the traits and everything, consciousness, everything is part of our neurons, but it doesn't
No.
appear to me that
No.
it is, because once the neurons are gone, is that gone?
That's right. These are difficult physiologic question. But the question, what are
Yeah,
the
we can
way
only kind of hypothetical, right? I mean,
Yeah.
from a scientist's point of view, if it is not confirmed, it's a hypothesis, right?
Yeah, but at the same time, scientific truth also understands that there are many things we do not know.
Right.
Okay, so it is not a dogmatic belief, but what I'm getting back to traits, it is difficult to put a finger on and tell us this is the area of the body where the trait is. No. So it is something of a quality or an attribute. We do not know where it is, but it is a part of our existence as we are made of natural element of Prakriti.
True, but what he's saying is that suppose, like I'm driving along on the highway, I see a kind of convertible car bypassing in a nice weather, and I want a convertible. I should know that this is Rajas speaking through me to myself.
Exactly. Because you see that verse tells you
Yeah.
the sense object, the object that is perceived by the sense and the senses, they create the desire and the attachment and therefore the problem.
Yeah. So I think we have done enough about guna, guneshu vartanta. That verse, I think, it simply means guna live in themselves. They have an independent existence. That's what I get out of it. And then I can understand that, yes, one guna is affecting me, or it's like I am affected by one or the other. But I'm not gunas, and gunas is not me. So I think that's a kind of a revelation to me, because I have had this always, it's like easy word to say, and it's like easy to speak in a big lecture series, but to understand it, really, I feel good about this. And then, of course, prakrite guna sammudha, it can really, mesmerize you, right?
Yes, it can divert you very easily. This depending upon which trait is prevalent, and if the sense object and the senses drive you or make you create attachment, then it's some model.
I know. And we all have had this, I'm in love, right? When you are young and you see that, person that you love, and you know that you are kind of some mood. I mean, you are mohit, right? I mean, that is, and I'm not saying that, don't do it, but we can look back and see that those forces, those prakriti forces, can really take control of you.
Sure. And that's why you gave the example of younger age. That's the difference between infatuation and love.
Yeah, I mean, it's easy to say which is,
In
judge ourselves, but who knows when we were infatuated and when we were in love.
No, the difference is that in infatuation, you want to acquire it. In love, you want to give it. So that is the difference. That is the difference. So,
Yeah.
so any love with ownership is not love.
Yeah.
That is out
love
of
with friendship, is that okay?
What's that?
Love with friendship.
Yeah, that's okay, because if you are giving, if you are wanting something out of it, that very moment love disappears.
Yeah, I know. I'm saying, ifs and buts, because in reality, most people institutionalize it.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is, and I'm not saying that's wrong either.
No,
Because
but these are just happening, and we have to work our way through these happenings to our own Satchidananda state or the blissful state. There are
yeah,
various kind of
that's the
emotions.
ideal situation. We are talking about a common man. It's like um, getting to Satchidananda and blissful stage in a young, person who is, just out of college or just out of residency. He's busy having his career. So in a practical term, as long as he realizes that, yeah, these are forces that are acting on me. And yes, one day he may be enlightened and get to that stage, or I can get to that stage. But as what did we say, baby steps we were talking last time, that,
Yeah.
start taking.
Yeah, I mean, basically, you talked about these in 3 stages of desire.
Yeah. Krishna comes again, like what you said, Mayi Sarvani Karmani, hey Arjun, this one, I love this 30, it's like, doesn't matter what topic Krishna is, he always comes to the point, Arjun, get up and fight. And many people may not realize that, this very high level language, very high level sermon, but he comes back down to the practical. Mayi
Yes.
sarvani karmani, sanyasyadhyatma chetasa, nirasir nirmamo bhutva, yudhyasva vigatajvarah. Now focus on me. And now he's telling, now I think Arjun is completely in meditation mode, or by this time, all these words coming from Krishna, it's like, these are like music to the ear. And it's more than music, because there is so much depth in this thing. And Krishna is a total recipient, he's in the total receiving mode. And he says, Mayi sarvani karmani, give it all to me, surrender it all to me, just work for Paramatma, just संपूर्ण कर्मों को अर्पण करके, just offer it all to me, get up and fight. This yudhyasva vigatajvarah. Vigatajvarah, I was looking at, santap rahit, without any fever, temperature, without any, it's like influence of anything else. He wants him to fight.
And this one is the most important part. All this emotional upheaval that Arjun is going through.
Yeah.
Okay, it is because of his attachment. It is because of he is confused about his role. He is non-focused about the job he has to do. So Krishna tells him that now you surrender yourself to me. You don't think you are the doer. You are the agent of these deeds, which is right in front of you. So give up all this delusion, get up, and then get into the action which is in front of you, which is, as a warrior, you get into the war.
Yeah.
So
but he's not asking him to surrender as Krishna, as a friend, right?
No. He's talking about he's talking about leave those emotional upheaval, because you are thinking yourself, you are the one who is doing it. No, you are not that. You are the agent of this deed which is already ordained.
Yeah.
Okay. So
but here, like you say, that Krishna represents like a human being and also the Brahman, right?
Yes.
So if he's asking him to surrender, he's asking him to surrender to the bigger.
That's right. That's right. That's right. So leave all these things to me. In other words, understand this law of universe. Okay, this is your dharma. Okay, swadharma, and then you get into the war as a warrior. Do not think you are the doer. You are the agent of this deed, because the evil has to be destroyed for sustenance of this world. That's what it all means.
So the next 4 verses, he talks about what you have been already saying, about indriyas and desires and how it can affect you. But basically, you have to control your indriyas, control your desires. I love this word called Shraddhavanto Anasuyanto. He's saying Shraddhavanto Anasuyanto, puts it two together. Shraddha means trust. Anasuyanto, without any kind of, doubt or without thinking of any adverse area, thinking. It's just complete faith
That's right.
in the Paramatma, because then only you will work for Paramatma. So the third level that we talked about, Shraddhavanto Anasuyanto.
ओ श्रद्धावंतो अनसूयंतो तुम कृष्ण भजो तुम कृष्ण भजो